Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, then welcome. My name is Elizabeth. I would love for you to subscribe for more videos on being your authentic self and creating your dream life. So today I wanted to talk about insecurity. Obsessing over your flaws or just feeling insecure about either a personality trait or a physical trait. I was at a very interesting seminar yesterday and it talked about just business and growing a business, but what they really focused on was giving tips on how to improve your inner world. Because in the end of the day, nothing is really going to get better until you change your mindset, until you work on yourself internally first. This idea is becoming more and more popular and more people are talking about it, but I think that it's so true, and it just made me really think back and remember certain times when I was younger and I was just being eaten up by so many insecurities and, not liking the way I look or just certain features or just feeling really down about myself and trying to figure out ways to make myself feel better or to make things work without really changing my mindset. And so it's just things that I wish I knew when I was younger. I know how tough not liking certain aspects of yourself can be. I just wanted to cover a couple of reminders and tips that will hopefully help you to kind of switch your mindset a little bit and get your attention away from all of those insecurities or so-called flaws onto the more positive aspects of yourself. So number one, the main thing that I want to kind of cover today is the reminder that the reality that you create, the way that people see you, the way that you feel about yourself is really a result of a story that you've been telling yourself for years. For a long time I thought that, oh, this is not working out because of this thing that I don't like about myself, or this is going to be so much better once I change this other thing, or I act this way. And then those results that I was looking for never really came until I made like a mental shift, until I started seeing myself in a different light, and those things that I once felt insecure about just kind of dissolved. If you focus on all of those insecurities and things that you don't like, in the end of the day you're just creating more of them. You're really emphasizing them, not only for yourself but for others too. You're basically just telling everyone, oh, focus on this, look at this is who I am. When in reality it's all in your hands and it's in your control to change that story and see yourself in a different light and present yourself in a different light as well. Those things that we don't like don't have to define us as people. It's the story that you keep playing in your head over and over again. It's what gives you the result. It's what kind of shapes your life. And the story that you tell yourself, you have the ability and the freedom to change whenever you want. So it's just such a life-changing idea, and it's just so important to really think about and just understand for yourself and really analyze what it is that you've been telling yourself and start changing it into a more positive and a more productive story. So how do you change your story? Basically, you have to prove to yourself that you are capable of change, you're capable of success, and you're capable of accomplishing goals. And the easiest way to do that basically is come up with a couple of small goals that you've had for a long time. It can be just working out for 15 minutes every morning, or getting up at 7 a.m. every morning, or just preparing a healthy dinner every single day. Something that is important to you, but something that's not like overwhelming. Not, oh, make $1 million every year. Like, start small and start reasonable. Something that you know for a fact that you can commit to. Basically tell yourself that I am a person who wakes up every morning at 7 a.m. and works out for 15 minutes every day. That is a part of me. That is who I am. Tell yourself that every day and commit to doing whatever it is that you set your mind to do. I know for a lot of people it's easy to do it for a couple of days and then you just fall out of it, but if you really want to change and if you really want to change that mindset and that story, then you have to commit to it. And once you commit to it for even just like 3 weeks, 21 days, something close to a month, then your mind will start kind of slowly shifting and you will prove to yourself that I am capable of committing to a goal. I am capable of accomplishing goals. I'm capable of change. I'm capable of success. And that just starts so much momentum towards so much positive change. And that's kind of how your story slowly begins to change. It's not that hard to do. Willpower sometimes is very hard to exercise, but we can all do it, and if you want it bad enough, then you can definitely do it. Start slowly changing yourself and therefore changing your story. The second reminder is that a lot of the time people on the outside don't actually notice our insecurities and flaws the way that we think they do. Everyone is so worried about their own selves and the things that they don't like that no one is really judging you as much as you think. You're your worst critic and you're probably judging yourself the hardest. And you might be worried that because you look a certain way, you know, it's making you unattractive, or certain traits are really unattractive to people. But the thing that is most attractive in reality is just having like a peace of mind about who you are and just being yourself. And I know that people say this all the time, just be yourself. It means different things to different people, and it's something that you kind of really have to think about and practice. But I think that, you know, when you do set that intention to be more authentic, to be more of yourself, then eventually you will get there. I think that there's nothing more attractive than just that sense of self and that presence, harmony within yourself, just doing what you love and just really being in the moment and completely okay with yourself. Even like those so-called flaws that you don't like about yourself become attractive. I always say this, that people that I find most attractive a lot of the time, whether it's just being people that I come across or celebrities or just people who I look up to, aren't necessarily perfect, don't necessarily have the perfect face features. There's just something about their charisma, just something about their energy that is so attractive. And that is why it's so important to remember that everything starts within your mind and just within you, and it's not something that you necessarily have to change on the outside to feel better. Another great tip to beat insecurity and just not obsessing over your flaws is just doing and staying active and doing things that you know you're good at, that you know you like, that you enjoy, that bring you happiness, and do them as much as possible. It's so attractive when someone is just in motion doing something that they're passionate about, that they're excited about. It just, you automatically just become a magnet to other people, and it shifts your own perspective and your mindset, and you just start filling up with good emotions. Start focusing more on the things that you can do, that you're good at, that you like about yourself, as opposed to just beating yourself up over like one or two of those things that you don't like. So it's super important to do what you love as much as possible, and just remind yourself, like when your mind is like, oh my goodness, you suck, like you look like this, you look like that, or your personality is the worst, whatever it is that your mind is lying to you about, just start rephrasing that and being like, well, no, like I'm really great at doing art and people love my artwork and I enjoy doing it, and it brings happiness not only to me but to other people as well. And once you kind of start shifting your thoughts a little bit like that, becoming more aware of the things that you are good at and that you do enjoy, your mind automatically starts picking up more positive momentum, and you just feel better and happier and just kind of come to a better state of mind. And some of these things that I say, I know might sound very simple or like straightforward, but honestly, they're so important to constantly remind yourself of. It's just important to not only listen but also to kind of try and implement those things into your life, because I've gotten stuck in the past just listening to a lot of positive things and learning a lot of cool tricks and then never actually using them, and then feeling frustrated because I wasn't seeing a result. So super important to actually try those things out and just actually use them and implement them into your life. Let's say there's a physical feature that you don't really like about yourself. Find people that you're attracted to, either physically or energetically, just whoever you look up to, whether it's a person that you know or a celebrity that has that facial feature too. It's easy to compare yourself to other people who don't look like you and who don't act like you, and then bring yourself down because you're not like them but you think you should be. But comparing yourself to other people is never a good thing unless you're getting inspiration or motivation from someone else. It's just a waste of time, and one of the best ways of fixing that is finding someone who does have features like you or a personality trait like you. If you think in your head that you're super quirky and super awkward, then find like an actor or an actress that you really look up to who has a similar trait. Kind of look at it from the side, and then most of the time you will see that those things that you kind of looked at as like negative things and like minuses are actually things that make someone else stand out in a very positive light. And most likely it's because they're owning it, they're accepting it, and they're just allowing themselves to be who they are as a whole. And a lot of the time that's what makes that person unique and stand out. And they're still beautiful and awesome, and it's just important to remind yourself, because when you're obsessing over something that you're insecure about within yourself, it's so easy to just zoom in on that and allow that to be the only thing that you see. And people see you as a whole, and when you're separating, certain things and just really zooming in on them, it's easy to beat yourself up and think that that's all you are, or that it's such a negative thing, when in reality, when you put it as a whole, a lot of the time it's what makes you pretty cool and pretty unique and pretty special. And I think it's important to kind of also separate, the things that you have to accept and the things that you can change. It's okay to improve yourself. It's okay to make little adjustments. Still important to work on certain things and improve yourself while still accepting yourself and just being okay with who you are, and not constantly thinking that you're not good enough because of those things. So I think it's really important to remember that. And the last thing that I want to mention about insecurity is that it's easy to think that once you change a flaw, your life is going to be so much better, you're going to be so much happier, and everything is going to change for you. And sometimes you can improve something, and because you feel more confident, everything around you kind of starts changing and feeling better. However, most of the time, nothing is really going to change that drastically until you change your mindset, until you change within. It sounds kind of cheesy, and again, we all heard this, but it's so true. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, it's all about changing the story, choosing how you want to define yourself, and being very careful and deliberate with those things, and not just letting certain insecurities that developed years ago to run your life and let that be the only thing that you focus on. It's important to practice gratitude and remind yourself of all of the good things that you do have, everything that you're capable of, your talents, your skills, your friends. You can focus on one thing that you don't like about yourself, but you can also choose to focus on 100 things that you do love about yourself. So it's all up to you, and it's all about you making that conscious decision to shift your mindset and start telling yourself a different story. Understanding that just because you will change something physically won't necessarily make the most drastic change is actually something that gives me a peace of mind, because then when you realize that, kind of just take your power back. And when you know that it's something that you have to change within, then that's totally within your control and something that you can practice and set an intention to do, as opposed to freaking out about how you can change yourself on the outside. So these are just really awesome reminders that really help me to deal with insecurity and to just kind of get over certain things if I'm obsessing over a flaw or something that I don't like about myself. And so remember that the most attractive people are just people who accept themselves, who just allow themselves to shine their light, do what they love, who are just present and enjoying life. We all have things that we don't like. We all get into our heads about certain things and judge us and beat ourselves up. Just take a breath, take a moment, and start deliberately shifting your mind and focusing on something more positive and allowing the positive momentum to build. So those were just a couple of awesome tips that have really been helping me out, and I really wanted to share them with you guys, and I hope that you find them to be inspiring and helpful. And if you do, then definitely give this video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it, and leave a comment below and let me know how you've dealt with insecurity in the past and what helps you to feel better about yourself. Remember that you are amazing with so much to offer, and you are unique and you're your own person. Only you can do things the way that you can do them. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video.